Hey guys, we're here with my boy Dayne, who finished third place at the Rarity Collection Tournament with Phantom Knight Horus Adventure. What are your thoughts on this new deck?
Kind of sucks, but if you play well, you can get a lot of advantage and build boards that are kind of hard to break through.
Okay, awesome. Well, I guess we'll just get right into the list then.
Okay, so start off, Phantom Knight Engine. Got 3 Torn Scales, obviously. 3 Silent Boots, 2 Cloak, 1 Gloves, and 1 Greaves. A lot of people have cut the Greaves recently, but I do like having the extra name as an extender. Having the extra body does help to get into, say, Rusty Bardiche, or to make your 3s or 4s afterwards. Nothing too inventive there. Then the Adventure Engine. Got the 3 Enchantress and the Griffin Rider. You can honestly use these very inventively now that you have the Horus cards, like discarding Enchantress for Imseti's effect, then drawing one, then adding Rite of Aramesia afterwards. Very free. It helps to start the Advantage Engine rolling. And obviously a free negate is always really cool. And the Horse Engine, I'm gonna get roasted for this, but I only played 3 Imseti and the 1 Happy. I didn't like adding the additional brick. It's not really worth it to increase the odds of seeing one of the bricks from like 12% to more than 20. If this gets Bestials, it is what it is. This one has a good effect, so it's also nice to have. The other ones I would consider adding back in, but as of now, I just like having the 4. And then additional extenders, we have the 2 Dangers. What I found earlier on in testing with this is that we didn't have a lot of draw power, so if we didn't open 2 3s, often your combo would just stop with only having 1 3 on the board. So having these allows you to draw and cycle through your deck, as well as just having an additional level 3 to put on the board with the Phantom Knights. And then for going second card / pseudo engine, we have 3 Fenrir's. This card is amazing in this deck. There's a lot of discarding that goes on, so having the ability to add one and discard it for, say, Imseti or for a Fateful Adventure if you're in a bad situation, they honestly come in very handy. The Banish effect doesn't come in handy as much as I thought, but very solid addition to the deck. And then 3 Ash. Generically good against everything. I'm not totally settled on this. It could change to Imperm or maybe something like Book of Eclipse. All depends on how the meta shakes out, but for now, this was pretty good. And for the spells, you have your 3 King Sarcophagus. So if you don't know what this does, it lets you pitch a card from your hand and then dump one of the Horse monsters to the graveyard from your deck, and then you can summon them back for free. So that makes either Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, which is a monster negate, or Zombie Vampire if you're really desperate and need to start milling to get your combos going. It also has additional effects, so like if you attack with a Horus monster, you can just send the opponent's monster to the graveyard. People don't really know about that one, and it makes it so that they can't be destroyed by effects that don't target them. So sneaky hidden effects that can win you games. And then for the Adventure Engine, we got 2 right. 3 is very bricky. If you need to go to the 3rd one, you're probably not going to win that game anyway. The obvious Fateful Adventure and Draco back, and then Foolish and Reinforcements, also very standard parts of the Phantom Knight deck. We're going second, 3 Droplets. This card is insanely free in this deck. You know, sending Water Enchantress, 2 Phantom Knight names, like you can just combo off from there, and like all those will be pluses after negating your opponent's entire board. And for the traps, we have the 2 Fogblade, obvious standard. The Wing, sometimes I consider changing this to the Fogblade, or not the Fogblade, the sword. But this one is pretty good. You can just send it at any time or activate it at any time to get the Rusty Bardiche pop. Nothing to say there. And then Rusty Bardiche, or Shade Brigandine, sorry. A lot of people have cut this as well. It's hit or miss. Sometimes you open it and you have nothing really to do with it. But if you open extremely optimally, you can use it to make, say, a Dweller, which is not very common, but when it does come up, it can be game ending. It's something like Tier. So we have the 2 Break Swords. Very standard Phantom Knight stuff. It pops itself, and if you summon it to Rusty Bardiche's zone, then you can pop a card on the field. Evil Storm Nightmare. So when you pop Break Sword, you summon back 2 Phantom Knights from the graveyard as level 4s. This is the standard endward piece. Book of Moons, your opponent's monsters on special summon, so often they can't get through that if you do it twice on them. Pearly in particular suffers a lot against this card. The Dweller, not totally decided on this. It is cuttable since Tier Elements is kind of falling out of favor right now, but when it does come up, it usually is an FTK against them. And Raider's Knight and Arc Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. So when you bring back the Phantom Knights off Break Sword as level 4s, you can go into this, and then this goes into this. He negates the whole board, gains everything's attack, and can one-shot your opponent. And the 8s, we got Photon Lord that I mentioned earlier, and Zombie Vampire. Both very strong. Often they stay on the board beyond when you use their effects, so you can also just start pushing for damage with them as well. And then Zeus. I am considering getting a Typhon, but I don't know. I haven't really seen its utility yet, but maybe it's just because I haven't bought it. And then for the links, we have Cherubini, best Phantom Knight card in the game. Sends any Phantom Knight name, sends Water Enchantress if you need that part of the engine to get rolling. Dark, generically very good right now. If you're in an extremely dire situation, you can make this to go up into your Rusty Bardiche instead of using Cherubini. Little Knight, best card in the game. It's just too insane. Honestly, Konami needs to ban this card. IP Masquerena, her best friend, also very good. This can be part of your end board as well if you're anticipating something a little different than what you would need Evil Swarm Nightmare for. A Rusty Bardiche, but he's the heart and soul of the deck. Once you get to him and you can resolve his effect, you're usually going to win that game for sure. And then my final slot is Underworld Goddess. This is a little bit of a flex spot. I didn't really use it, but I did want to have additional elves to Purely, just in case, you know, my sideboard cards or the Evil Swarm Nightmare didn't work. But you could change this to an Axis Code, maybe an Appaloosa. 3 Drolls for Vanadium and Dark World and all those annoying combo decks that you don't like to see. And 2 DD Crows. Okay, I was absolutely trolling with this, but the last Horus name, I never put it in. It was just in case people with a lot of Bishals in their decks were coming against me, but I didn't face any of those, so this would obviously come out for something more useful. And 3 Book of Eclipse. This actually won me my round against Fluanderies, because booking the M-Pen just allowed me to combo off in OTK. Then Lightning Storms and Harpies for Rescue Ace. And then 3 evenly matched. I'm also not decided on this. Like, it's good, you know, it hits Rescue Ace, it hits all the back row cards, but it might change to being something more going first oriented, like maybe Solemn Judgment or Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for the deck profile. Any last shout-outs?
Yeah, everyone at Go For Game, James, of course, Takumi for letting me borrow his SP Little Knight. That card is way too expensive and no one around me has it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.